During times of uncertainty and anxiety, it helps me to stay grounded by thinking about the things that never change, right? The two constants, as we all know, are death and really annoying artists. This always makes me think of one of the most famous, most annoying, most dead artists, Vincent van Gogh, who frankly has ruined several generations of artists. He's set the standard that every artist is secretly trying to aspire to, whether they realize it or not. He was this smart, introspective, moody protagonist that everyone thought was a weirdo, but was actually just a really cool, eccentric genius. He's someone who is misunderstood and underappreciated in their lifetime, whose greatness is only recognized after they die. Every artist is like this at least a little bit, which is counterintuitive, right? Because a lot of artists work really hard in their craft to gain fame and recognition, to be loved and appreciated, but they'd be a lot happier if they just died a failure. See, we don't actually have that much sympathy for the artists that succeed. There's not much worth talking about the rise to stardom of Taylor Swift or Chris Pratt. Ultimately, we know how those stories end, and it's a happy ending. The protagonist wins. It's really fucking boring. Look, everyone knows a tragedy is so much more interesting, it's more enthralling, and frankly, it's just more accurate to reality. The story of a failed artist is going to be one that a lot more people resonate with, whereas the success stories will feel alien and unreal. What's funny is we don't recognize that obviously this failure is the better option. To go unrecognized, to play the tormented artist, is to make your own life a story worth talking about. Your Kurt Cobains, your Jimi Hendrixes will remember the 27 Club members more fondly than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recipients. Like, those old fuckers won. Sure, they made a couple good songs, but I'm not going to get anything interesting from their autobiography. Look, being able to make art is great, but every artist would much rather have their own life be a work of art, a piece within their discography. Art isn't necessarily something that some of us can just turn on and off. For some of us, very integral to our understanding and processing of the world. To have all these events make sense from a narrative perspective. To have all your pain and suffering leads towards some cathartic resolution. The tragedy of Van Gogh isn't like much of the pain in this world, meaningless and random. No, you gotta realize that all of his pain, self-inflicted or otherwise, fits within a narrative arc. His strained relationship with his brother, his lack of relationship with his mom, his numerous psychotic episodes, all fit perfectly within his story. Artists are always trying to make sense of their lived experience as some sort of artistic catalyst. For many, pain is cruel and meaningless, but artists reject this. You've got to realize that my bad relationship with my dad isn't just because they got divorced when I was young. You got to realize it's character development. And what greater turmoil is there for an artist to experience than being desperate for attention, yet refusing to concede anything to the world that's raging against them? Craving love and affection, yet doing everything possible to distance that possibility from them. Every artist will claim that their work is made for them and them alone. There's not any consideration for the audience, the fame, the money. It's just for the sake of the game. And that's obviously a fucking lie, right? Like, you wouldn't care so much about sharing your mixtape if this was just for you. No, every artist craves the attention. They crave it so badly. There's an ego. There's at least some consideration for how other people are going to respond to your work. Like, for some of y'all, I don't think you're an artist. I think you just crave the attention. Van Gogh had no audience to cave into, no market pressures motivating his brush. He was in it for the sake of the game. There's a commitment, a raw passion there that every artist is always trying to attain in their work, but can never truly achieve. Van Gogh was so committed to his work that his death can be seen as the conclusion to his final piece, the work of his entire existence. Through his death, he depicted fervent dedication. He perfectly encapsulated through his own life the same emotional resonance he sought to show in his work. Of course, artists wouldn't want literally no one to see their work, right? Like, we quite like sharing what we see and what we feel, and we'd love as many people as possible to share in that experience. Van Gogh certainly would have appreciated having an audience of some kind, but that desire, that ego, needed to be set aside so that his story could shine and be shared with the world. Every artist is like this. They're trying to chomp Vincent's flavor, whether they realize it or not. It's just that I'm the only one brave enough to admit it, that I'm aiming for something greater that will outlive me, while also being this mentally ill artist doomed to failure. So I'm gonna keep making things. I'll make these silly videos and my music, and no one will watch or listen to any of them, and that's good. That's a good thing, actually. I'm happy about that.